Hello, everybody. Can you hear us?
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to Impact in Web3. How are you doing? You doing good?
Thank you so much for being here for this conversation.
Let me get to where I can see you, Ina. So we're excited to talk to you about art and blockchain technology and how we can use it to create real change. I am Crystal Petit, and I'm here representing the fantabulous, amazing Code Green.
And thank you so much. And I am Ina, and I'm very excited to talk about art, gaming, and how we can use the blockchain for, to protect not only the planet, but the future of the next generation.
Yes, so today we have some amazing and very diverse projects for you. And I would like to introduce a couple of people, then my beautiful colleague Ina will as well. Today we have representing Maya Spirits, Liam Scully. And yes,
from Girls Revolution, Jessy, Jeanne.
We have the most amazing artist, someone who fights for human rights, universal basic income. We have Fiona Aboud.
And we have the one and only co-founder of the Sandbox, Sebastien Borget. So we're going to start the conversation with you, Sebastien.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us. And the Sandbox has been doing an amazing job for impact, not only in the space of Web3, but in the world in general. And today I'm very excited because we launched the Sandbox DAO. I'm an advisor on it. So thank you so much for having me.
Here you go.
It's a great honor to have you as advisor to the Sandbox DAO that we just announced at the main keynote today. I think, like in a nutshell, our vision is like not just like empowering people to become more creative, to become artists and make content. It's also like how through those actions they can actually make a real impact in the physical world. So how do we drive all the audience, all the attention, all the money that's actually in Web3, in blockchain, and we use it as a vehicle to like drive more positive impact through education, through supporting sustainability, environment, and so on. And I'm the first one who's so impressed every time that someone like you want to launch something on a project, on a Sandbox as a platform that's going to drive this kind of real impact. So I think it was 2 years ago here, right, that we started and announced the Code Green project together.
Absolutely, we did. We launched a game in the Sandbox in partnership with the UN called the Hilverse. And then after the Sandbox game, we started working on a Tiny Tap education program for kids. So that's all thanks to the Sandbox.
Thanks to you, first of all, for carrying the project. And like, it's really this particular conference and places that allow us to reach to broader audience and make a difference.
So what can we expect from the Sandbox DAO?
Right. So the idea behind the Sandbox DAO, and it's really the pursuit of like how we started the Sandbox platform using blockchain and NFTs, really to bring decentralization, to allow people to truly own their digital asset and then gain freedom from that, because we actually are not really free in the digital world. Like everything we create, everything we post, everything we buy doesn't really belong to us. So starting from like using the technology, bringing digital freedom, now we want to empower more and more projects to be built on the platform supported by the community. And that will help to drive that impact in the physical world, that help to raise funds or use the 25 million SAN budget that we have allocated per year toward various activities, projects that are either built on Sandbox or are going to use Sand or some asset of Sandbox like lands, NFTs, and even like be launching on other places and platforms to drive that impact. So we're really looking at essentially supporting the vision, do the metaverse for good on the platform and outside of the platform.
And how can we support as a community, how can we support the work that the Sandbox DAO is doing?
So essentially, you can like either participate by voting on the existing proposals. So people will be submitting their proposals. You can have access to all of them in full transparency on the sandboxdao.com website. And then you can use your sand or your land to agree, disagree, or just comment about it to ask for additional question and information. That's the first step. The second is like you can just promote and talk about it. So that's really what Ina is going to do. Like she will help with the other advisor to review with us certain of the sandbox improvement proposals, and some that she thinks are more aligned with the value that you carry. She will tell to her community. She will help to raise awareness, so then we can get more votes, more support, and hopefully make them pass. Once they are passed, we will essentially work with the council to ensure that they are those projects get funded, and then there is action, there is delivery behind. So how do we track the delivery, the different milestones, and the true impact? And we can share a report back to the community of Sandbox and the funders behind.
It is very exciting that today is the day of the launch. How do you see the timeline throughout the year?
So today is really the first phase of the DAO. So basically, it's live right now. There's already 5 sandbox improvement proposals, SIP, that are live. The 3 first ones are just about the constitution, the budget, and agreeing with the team behind. But there's 2 that's live right now that I think already carry these values of driving impact. The first one is about Sandbox supporting a carbon-based project and acquiring carbon credit through this trusted platform. So already we can drive some environmental impact by removing carbon. And the second is supporting for the second time the French Red Cross to get additional budget so they can build an experience, raise more awareness, and collect more funds using Sandbox as a platform to donate then to the people in need.
It's a privilege to be part of this because I love the structure of DAOs in general, but this specifically because it's so concrete and it acts on what is decided. So I'm very excited about it.
That was just the first phase. So then on an ongoing basis, we're going to keep seeing more and more SIPs submitted, being voted. And the second phase will probably be the full public launch. We are aiming around October this year, probably at Hong Kong FinTech Week. And we'll have a dedicated event around that time to invite everyone who participated, submitted proposal, etc. And that's the DAO is really going to function very independently as well from the Sandbox platform and team. So really going to see how 2 communities can emerge and work together, and how we help through that shape real impact, and also shape a virtual world where basically that can continue to exist probably forever without the main Sandbox team to be involved. So the concept of decentralization is to give more autonomy to the players and the creator, to give more freedom through digital ownership, and to align the values to support things that we care about and that can make a real impact.
It's amazing to see impacts really, spreading in the space. Thank you so much for sharing more about the DAO. I really wanted us to talk about it today.
Yes, and congratulations on the launch of the DAO. That's amazing. I'd like to go to Fiona. Hello. We had the pleasure of meeting last year here, I believe. But I do believe I first heard you speak in Clubhouse, I want to say, around the pandemic time. So, yeah, many years ago. So I would love for you to tell us about your journey into Web3, and then we'll get more into your goals and the things that you're working on.
Hi, my name is Fiona Aboud. I'm a Brazilian American artist, and I've been a social impact artist for 20 years. And getting money internationally in the hands of people that need it was a nightmare before crypto, Web3, blockchain. And when I got into Clubhouse and I learned how easy it was, I was like, oh my gosh, this is game changer. So I connected with an organization called Impact Market, which was actually founded here in Portugal, in Porto, the founder. And it's on the Celo blockchain, which is layer 2 to Ethereum now. And basically what they do is they have communities all over the world. They're in 30 countries, and they have, through their protocol, they're able to distribute money directly to people's phones. So what I ended up doing was I collaborated with an artist named Creatress, who's an augmented reality, VR reality artist, and she created an AR sculpture based on the this design here, the two flamingos and a heart. Basically, the idea is the pink flamingo is our connection to, like, our community connection, and the red is our individual connections, and the heart is our capacity as humans to care. So through the AR sculpture, 50% went to a community in Brazil that they don't have access to clean water. Many people live on under $2 a day. And this is a global problem. The UN estimates like 700 million people live below $2 a day, which is just so ridiculous considering how many problems we solved as humans, that I'm very hopeful for the future for blockchain, for AI, to just like take these problems that with blockchain, it's just like, all right, let's put 2 and 2 together and fix this, because it's ridiculous that it still exists. So lastly, I just wanted to mention, I created the physical sculpture that I've been carting around Europe and the United States, much my back is hurting me. But it's been great to introduce people that aren't in crypto, and to just people, to artists in general, to promote this idea that art can now actually solve problems. It's not only speaking to social issues and social problems, like we have the tools to solve problems through art. So that is my goal.
That's amazing. I was super interested in hearing about your journey to bring us a little bit closer to universal basic income using this wonderful technology.
I was a photographer and a videographer on Andrew Yang's campaign in the United States, which is actually really funny because Impact Market was inspired by his campaign. So his background was basically thinking AI is going to take all our jobs. So we need to figure out a way to have technology companies and other companies pay their way, maybe a VAT tax, a consumption tax, to help support the many people that are going to lose their jobs over the next 10, 20 years. And just hearing the speech over and over again, and then coming into crypto and hearing about Impact Market, I was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. So that's how I got into it.
I see. Can you tell us about any anecdotes you may have of projects you may have worked on? And I guess there's some unintended change or some sort of story that came out of it that was pretty much something you would have never expected, I guess. Some sort of wow moment. Oh my goodness, I had no clue that this could come from what I'm trying to do in Web3.
Well, it kind of goes back to before Web3, and in terms of the power of art. I did a project where I photographed amputee soccer players in Sierra Leone, and a team saw the work and ended up making a documentary, and they ended up raising all this money. And even though getting money was really difficult to the people that needed it, it ended up getting there, and they got education, and it really helped them get through the Ebola crisis that was there. But the Web3, what's amazing is if you go on YouTube and you watch a video of Impact Market and how it works, and you see people like talking about having to walk for miles to get clean water, and then they pick up their phones and get crypto and use it at the like local store to buy like a mango or a medicine, and you're just like, holy cow, like that amplified. And Impact Market's only been around, I think, for 2 years, and they're in 30 countries. They've distributed around $3 million. And I'm just like, imagine that 10 years down the line, and once I get an AI robot to start making money and distributing it through blockchain. No, but this power, this merging of technology and art is more than just like cool graphics. It's like actual impact. So I've seen the impact that art and, the money that can be raised. And now with Web3, it's that much easier to just like make it happen. So.
Oh, I love that. No, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fiona. That's really inspiring. I would like to have a conversation now with Jessy Jeanne, aka Jessy Fries. I would love to know about your journey with Girls Revolution and how you came into the space.
Hi. So I arrived in the Web3 space in 2021 when I was hanging out on a Clubhouse, actually. I met with some people and they were talking about NFTs, and I'm an artist. And I was super fed up with the art world because I thought that back in the days, in 2017, I noticed that the art world was still like brick and mortar, but all of the industries were, disrupted by digital tools. And I thought that it was super weird that artists still needed to, show their works in a gallery in order to make money. And so when I heard about NFTs, I was immediately like super interested. And basically, I started my career in the Web3 space as an artist and collector. And then eventually I met a girl named Annie Stern, who is super interested in, showing the works of women artists. And we started discussing together, and we noticed that there were a lot of women artists in the space, but they were never in the, top sales. They were not making that much money. And also they were rarely invited at events or exhibitions. And so what we did is that we created a project called Girls Revolution. We wrote a catalog of 100 women artists to follow in the NFT space that you can, by the way, download on our website, girlsrevolution.xyz. And so we worked together with 3 other curators, Léa Duhem, Joséphine Louis, and Marie-Odile. And so, we each of us, we created like 20 women artists, and we tried to get, women from different backgrounds, different countries, etc. And so from there, I met a person on Twitter called Jean-Michel Paillon, which is the ex-Ledger executive. And I don't know, we started talking together, and I told him that we want to organize the first physical event because we thought that it's important to bring the artists in galleries in order to show their art to people who actually have the money, to buy art that is over $50, for example. And so he was like, how much do you need? I can give you the money and you can organize your first show. So he gave us the money and we organized the first exhibition in Paris at IAM Gallery. And we actually sold like 9 ETH worth of art, which was huge in 2023, I think it was, 23, which was huge. No one knew us. And we were also able to sell like art from artists that come from Ukraine, for example. And it was huge for them, And so from there, we continued our physical events. And we actually hosted like one during ETC. We did something with the Sandbox twice, actually. And they support a lot the cause of, empowering women artists in the Web3. And now we're looking more towards SocialFi, because as you said, I also have a brand called Jessy Fries, which is a performance art on chain. And basically, I'm using the Lens protocol and Farcaster to sell my ideas, create a community, and sell my art. And at one point, I noticed that in a month, I made like 30K. And I was like, this is something like that we should really leverage as curators and start, looking for women artists on these platforms, write about their art, sell our ideas, use the money to invest in their works, and, kind of create a sustainable ecosystem that way.
Your trajectory is really impressive and inspiring when you look at all the different mediums that you use. Like you said, podcasting, being on Lens, using social media. Why is it important to master those tools?
I think it's important because there's a lot of artists in the space. And if you're not super famous, it's super hard, for people to find you. And, how can you sell your art if no one knows about you? So I think that you need to have a social media presence because it's still, the NFT space is still like 90% online. There's also the offline, but there's a lot of people who actually have money and are also online. So you have to know how to market yourself. And if you don't know, then you should go to see like curators like us that can help you, that can give you a voice actually.
So what is the future for Girls Revolution?
Well, now we're discussing actually the step, to go towards SocialFi, and we don't have a proper strategy for now, but we're gonna have like a first presence on the Lens protocol, and we're gonna start working with artists there. And what we're hoping is that we can like fundraise money directly through the protocol to organize physical events and also again invest in women's art.
It's really amazing. I'm very excited to follow the rest of your journey, and I've seen how you started and how you grew from that. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear. Last but not least, Liam, Scully. We have had the privilege and the honor of following your beginnings. I don't think I've ever seen such dedication and such hard work from someone, first of all, so young. I'm dating myself. The drive that you have, this is my special dedication to Liam. The drive that you have is honorable. It is exceptional, and congrats for that. I do believe that you are the youngest NFT, Web3 entrepreneur that represents Latin America. Is that correct? You're not that. That's what the bio said. And that you have pulled together. He's managed to pull together, he and this team, 170 ETH worth that were sold via the Maya Spirits NFTs. Is that cool? You'll tell us more about that. Can you tell us, as a co-founder of Maya Spirits, alongside Dr. Lorenzo, what the goals are, but actually how you came to Maya Spirits, and briefly discuss your goals, and then we'll go from there.
Thank you, Crystal, for your kind words. What you're doing as well with Co Green is very admirable. So thank you for inspiring us as well. So, yeah, I started off learning from various cultures where I can find my truest self, where I can find happiness. And I learned, luckily, very early on that the biggest source of happiness comes through contribution, and contribution turns into meaning, and what drives us as humans is meaning. So when I learned that, I was thinking how I can create meaning for others in life, and that's when we decided to launch Maya Spirits with Dr. Lorenzo. Our main goal is to support a Mayan community in South Mexico and protect the largest biosphere in Latin America after the Amazon. And by doing so, we also wanted to make a change within the Web3 space, change the narrative that this tech can be used for more than just a personal gain, and showcase the potential of transparency through the blockchain, creativity through art, the power of community, the relatability or even entertainment that gaming can form. So these were various aspects that we found very relatable to others, because I think the biggest challenge with doing good in the world can be through people perceiving it as such a complex phenomenon where you don't know where to start, where you feel like your impact might not be enough. So we wanted to create something where those who contribute to the cause or want to be a part of something with an impact can feel like they're part of a family or part of a community in doing so. And we found that in Web3. And yeah, that's how we started.
Amazing and inspiring. Can you tell us a little bit more about the goals of Maya Spirit? I'll let you tell us in general, but what I find super incredibly admirable is your focus on women and sustainability in that concept. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so the main goal of Maya Spirits is really to empower the women within a community in Calakmul, which is where the biosphere is. And the reasoning for that is that we've analyzed through Dr. Lorenzo and his nonprofit that women are actually the real source of stability within a family and a community. The managing of funding, unfortunately, with men in impoverished families, they normally utilize the funding for alcohol or for personal pleasures, and women are much more responsible for doing so. So we wanted to make sure that we gave them a voice to make it more sustainable as a model. So that's number one. Goal number two is to conserve 4,000 hectares of land. And the reason for it being 4,000 is because that's a representation of the ownership of what the community owns. So the main goal is to always make sure the community owns their land and is not taken away from them. So our goal at Maya Spirits is to educate them about the value of what they own. And by doing so, then, which is the third pillar, create sustainable economies where income can come in, where hopefully in a few years, the community can become independent and it not be donations anymore, but more a support. And that's our main goal on the ground. In Web3, I think our main goal, similar to Code Green, is really to be an example of how this tech can be used for good, how it's not as scary as we think it is. Unfortunately, in Latin America, there's not many examples of using this tech for charitable causes yet. There are a few, but we really want to be that source of help, that inspiration for others, because these models are replicas. We're not geniuses. We're just people who really want to make a change. And luckily for now, we've been seeing this progress in Mexico. We were with Ina and Marco a few weeks back in the president's room of Mexico with the head of technology, being recognized for Ina's amazing work with the Great Green Wall, for the contributions that Code Green has been doing to uplift the community in Mexico too. And then from there, we hosted a summit for the locals in the outsides of Mexico City. So seeing people understand and learn about what digital art, what blockchain can be utilized for in such a fun, creative, transparent way is the only way we'll move forward. If we keep it so complicated, if we make it too exclusive for others to get into this space, we're not going to grow. And without growing, there's not going to be impact. So that's our main goal.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Liam. Shall we go down? Did you want to add something? Go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to add something. We actually, and we spent 3 weeks together in Mexico, and we drove 64 kilometers inside the Mayan jungle. And what we saw was breathtaking, but also heartbreaking, because half of what we were going through was trees cut down, burned down to, cultivate corn or other kind of unsustainable, agriculture. And the rest was a beautiful jungle with monkeys and animals and bees. And what is amazing is how can this community has gold in their hands. And how can we preserve what is still, living jungle by supporting the communities, because they own the land, and we want to inspire them to keep their land instead of giving it away for agriculture for money. And so what Liam hasn't said is that Maya Spirits actually gave to the community of Calakmul 35 years of salary to each woman of the community.
Amazing.
And also has preserved 1,000 hectares of the jungle already. So on the 4,000 hectares, there's already 1,000 that is preserved. So I just wanted to add that.
Look at you being modest, Liam. Come on, y'all. That deserves a round of applause. Now, you know that. Shall we go down briefly and just ask everybody what's next, pretty much?
Absolutely. We'll start with Sebastien. There you go.
Well, we hope that we can continue doing good through various actions from the community itself or through the partnership that we established. Recently, we had also a collaboration with WeForest, where people purchase virtual tree, we replant them in the real world, and we also give back to the IFA, which is a sport association in Africa for one of the villages that's being featured in Experience in Sandbox. We also, I do personally hope that we can educate more people and give land for free through the DAO, give budget for free to more action that can do real world impact, that allow people to understand that the technology here can be used really to drive positive impact. I also look forward maybe to talk further with each other here on some projects, maybe funded by the DAO or directly, like really interested in acquiring land in Maya forest here and to protect it as well. It's something I always thought about, like how do we take the virtual land in Sandbox and maybe map it with a real world location so that every single landowner would own and protect a parcel of land somewhere. So I'm still looking at how to acquire like 166 hectares, 1,000 of hectares somewhere in the world. Yeah, and ultimately I believe that a platform like Sandbox and gamification, we didn't talk so much about like how do we involve more people to become contributor, to raise awareness, etc. Because you say like we need to give them exposition through social media, but like the attention time that people have on social media is unfortunately very short. So you cannot really educate and drive more action and get the young generation, the Gen Z, to donate or participate or be involved. So with Sandbox and with virtual worlds in general, like we have already done a real world impact. We've seen people distribute food, meals, protect community, replant trees, and protect hectares of forests. I hope that this is something that can really grow, and hopefully we can collaborate more with everyone involved here.
Thank you so much.
Well, I'm going to continue to show the physical sculpture, but I'm also going to do a contest. My goal is to get more artists involved in, well, one of the reasons I'm passionate about UBI, or unconditional basic income, is it is decentralized giving. Like, people know what they need to buy. They don't need an organization telling them what they should have. Or obviously organizations are very helpful in a lot of instances, but I'm a strong believer in the fact that people know what they need. So a contest to like encourage more artists to get involved and just to keep showing it around and to keep growing. And I'm making derivatives involving kind of the logo, and it's going to evolve over time, but this is sort of my artist mission for the rest of my life because I'm like, art is so much more about the impact than it is about what it's about. Like, I chose flamingos because they're resilient. They can survive in salt flats. And I feel like humanity is so resilient that we can solve this basic problem that is just still so wide, and it shouldn't be that way. So
I have. So for Girls Revolution, now the goal is to sort of invade social fi because it's still like super much male dominated. There's a lot of reply guys, crypto bros, etc. And we really want to bring like the feminine touch in there. And also, educate more women artists, women creators to use social fi, and hopefully fundraise money to, continue having our physical events during like big crypto events like ETC or NFT NYC, etc. Because we still believe that it's important for, artists to have a physical presence somehow. And let's see how that goes.
We just did a NFT drop called Mayan Souls, which was within the Mayan Spirits ecosystem. I was speaking with a friend a few weeks back, a Mexican artist, Snowfro, about how we can onboard these new people into the Web3 realm, or even within Web3 for good, or digital art, generative art. So we decided to do an inclusive drop where we managed to onboard 5,000 new contributors to Web3 for good, thanks to our partnership with Wearable and Cello. It was very beautiful to see. We donated 100% of the proceeds to the community of Calakmul. People are really happy to see something refreshing, something with meaning behind. So that was something we did recently. I think coming forward, our main goal is to really conserve as quickly as possible the 4,000 hectares due to what we saw with the trees being cut down, the lack of education. So that's our main goal. And as a charity, we want to be as creative and flexible and as adaptive as possible to find these innovative ways to raise these types of funding. So that's our main goal.
Thank you so much. I think that's our time.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much all for joining us today and for really inspiring people to do good and to have an impact, because that's something that is reachable to anyone, but you just need to have the will and the heart to do so. So thank you for being such inspiring guests.
She said it. Let's thank our guests, everybody. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you. We'll see you around.